In this series of lectures, we would like to discuss the different facets of socialism. So, among those facets of socialism, we would like to discuss the first one, that is syndicalism. And as we know, the very exponent and founder of the thinking of syndicalism credited to George Sorel, and he, in his work Revisionism of the Left, and exactly in France it developed. So it is an attempt to revise Marxism in the light of new experiences called from massive labor movement. So syndicalism is the vision of a new stateless, classless society with the trade union as its base. So they emphasized on trade union or syndicates, which are very common in French social and political and economic system. And it is a kind of class struggle is with the syndicalist, the technique or method they adopted for social change. So it's emerged in France in the closing years of 19th century and the opening years of 20th century. Its spectacular growth in France was encouraged by a variety of factors, among which may be noted the revolutionary tradition of violence in France. In particular, it was based on a peculiar psychology of the French working class people, as they lack method, persistence, and foresight. And at the same time, they are sensitive, impulsive, and combative. The comparative youth of the trade union movement in France, and it lacked a mature sense of perspective and the peculiar French temperament for exploring a basic philosophical justification of their actions dedicated by the logic of immediacy. As Professor Levin expressed in his work Syndicalism in France, the very exponents of this version of socialism are both the active leaders of the trade union movement and a galaxy of brilliant intellectuals. Trade union or the syndicate is the foundation of the emerging socialist society. So, they emphasize on general strike, sabotage, and boycott. In the socialistic society, and other kinds of direct action are the revolutionary instruments of social change, as according to the exponents of the syndicalist theory of all social groupings, the trade union, the syndicalists argue, is the strongest and the most fundamental, because Men in society are interested above everything else in the satisfaction of their economic needs. And their argument is that, as Professor Levine put forward in his work Syndicalism in France, as they give emphasis on the very use of social wealth for social benefit according to the consent of the society, and as they consider state as an arbitrary and oppressive institution. So they wherefore direct action through strikes, sabotage, and boycott. So they are thinking of changing the social order is based on catastrophic revolutions. So the trade unions are most effective in evoking man's spontaneous and instinctive loyalties. The only social tie which the syndicalists accept is the tie of class interest. Thus, they argue tie of tradition, of a common intellectual and moral heritage, do not exist for the worker. In the world of syndicalist thinking, man's plural personality is reduced to one and forced unity. Pluralists may cry for multicolored society of co-equal groups, but their cry resounds with a mocking echo in the syndicalist world. And their kinds of direct action are the revolutionary instruments of social change. As the state must go root, branch, and blossom, the syndicate or the trade union will form the base of the syndicalist society. It will consist of the workers engaged in one trade, and they will use social wealth for social benefit and with the consent of the society. The connecting link between the syndicate and the rest of the society will be provided by the city trade union councils. So also the General Confederation of Labor, the relations of the local syndicate with the General Confederation will be indirect and mainly by mediation. So the relations with the latter will be permanent importance as the union, trade union council or the city trade union council will be the center of economic activity. So, Professor Levine in his work Syndicalism in France expressed in the society of syndicalist vision, there is no place for the state with which we are familiar. Like the Marxists, the syndicalists find the state to be arbitrary and oppressive in its very nature. So to assert, in a syndicalist society, the authors of syndicalism relied on what they would call direct action. So, strike, sabotage, boycott are its chief forms. Direct action is a direct necessity. It would educate the working class people, sharpen class cleavage, and prepare the workers for their final conquest of freedom. The approach of the syndicalist is revolutionary and not reformist, and they were in favor of piecemeal reforms, and as such, they, as not in favor of reforms, as such, the syndicalist thinks they would be deceived. They believe in catastrophic revolution and as the method of social change. The theory of class collaboration is calculated to weaken the working class movement as it blinds the worker. So the syndicalists' favorite abode is not the enlightened legislature, but the boiling cauldron of insurrection and strike. The syndicalists do not pin their faith in the revolution led by the whole mass of the proletariat. They rely on a conscious militant minority, and they consider the proletariat as the passive proletariat, as they rely on a conscious militant minority who would inspire and lead the otherwise passive proletariat. So according to the syndicalist, every strike, every great demonstration is generally started by a small and daring groups with a vision. The syndicalist accent on elitism remains one of the similar emphasis led by Vladimir Lenin after acquiring power in Russia. So, George Sorel, who was a brilliant intellectual, was the philosopher saint of syndicalism. Sorel, having started out with Marx, ends off with Bergson. So he borrowed the theory of class struggle from Marx and borrowed the theory of intuitions from Bergson. From Marx, he took the idea of class struggle as the key to social change. At the same time, his desire was to put Marxism on its non-essential features. So Bergson provided Sorel with his theory of intuition, according to which the aims of man's action are governed not by intelligent evaluation or reason, but by intuition. The very myth in Sorel syndicalism is the creation of this type of intuition. It is a body of images capable of evoking sentiment instinctively. For the working class people, Sorel had allowed the myth of general strike. Action, in Sorel's opinion, must be instinctive and spontaneous, and not the outcome of a logical process. So, from the very theory of George Sorel in his work Revisionism of the Left, we found that he idealized violence as a method should be adopted by the syndicates or the trade unions as a militant minority. They could bring social change, and according to Sorel, the proletariat or the working class is passive in nature. And now we'll make a critical assessment on the theory of syndicalism as a facet of socialism. So, it mostly influenced the Guild Socialist in Great Britain, and the Guild Socialists are mostly influenced by the theory of syndicalism in Great Britain or in United Kingdom. So also the syndicalist influence on the very continuation of strike, and as regarding that we found in the workshop Sorel, as society is in a process of change and the workers who are toiling for greater justice are also retreating by following the wrongdoing of which they are victims rather than strengthening social tendencies which make for their emancipation. That he was criticized by his theories of sabotage, riots, destruction of industrial capital, or any one of other minor violences of the syndicalist program. So also, we found the very criticism laid down by Ortega Gasset that he considered all them as the species of syndicalism and as the forces of barbarism, as they made region, and their region would be the region of unreason, as they does not want to give reason or the right but simply shows himself resolved to impose their opinion. This is the new thing, the right not to be reasonable. So, according to Ortega Gasset, as in his words, the region of the unreason, he identifies the syndicalist and also George Sorel, who is the founder and propounder of syndicalism. So also the syndicalist picture of the new society has also been subject to criticism, as too much attention has been given to the rights and responsibilities of the producer, too little to those of consumers. Too much emphasis has been put on control by the local browsers, too little on control by national units. So syndicalism, as developed by Sorel, is an rational version of socialism. So the critics consider the very form of syndicalism developed by George Sorel is considered as the very doctrine of irrationalism or the irrational version of socialism. Sorel's preference for intuition as a guide to human action and his insistence on creating social myth in the working class movement makes syndicalism a doctrine of irrationalism. Syndicalism, because of its acceptance of militant minority leadership in social movement, betrays a positively anti-democratic temper. His anti-state sentiment that, as we found in his theory of syndicalism, and their impatience with every form of state control, revealed the syndicalist lack of awareness of living political realities. Pragmatic thinking demands recognition of the utility of the state as an integrating focus of the great society. So, the syndicalists, as they consider state as an institution of arbitrariness and oppressive in nature, is not found support with other socialists who are identified as the utopian socialist or the evolutionary socialist in the form of guild socialism, and even the Fabian socialism which developed in England or in Great Britain. So, as he idealized violence and the militant minority and was in favor of a catastrophic revolution by the trade union workers through strike, sabotage and boycott, it does not found support from the present democratic thinking, and why the evolutionary socialists such as Charles Fourier, Robert Owen, Saint Simon, G.D.S. Cole, Sidney and Patrick Webb, even the great Fabians like Hadalowski. So, the very argument led in favor why George Sorel in regards to syndicalism finally in the hand and writings of one of the eminent writer on the theory of masses, Gasset, who described the very doctrine of syndicalism as doctrine of rationalism, and to him it is the reason of the unreason. So we have concluded our critical assessment on syndicalism, and in our next upcoming video we would like to discuss another important facet of socialism, and that is guild socialism, which was no doubt influenced by the syndicalist, but differs in all measures, and it was founded by GDS school in Great Britain or in United Kingdom, that we would like to discuss in our upcoming lecture.